Live.
Okay, very good afternoon, dear most students. Hope I am audible and the PowerPoint that I have shared is visible to you. Myself, CMA Ajit Shivadas. We are trying to discuss about practical perspectives, e-filing of income tax returns, GST, EPF, ESA, etc. For the next 20 hours, we are trying to grab it. Before on to the session, definitely yes, you all to be intermediate students of Institute of Cost Accountants of India. Definitely yes, you may be having the fundamental idea about income tax sections, income tax provisions, etc., along with GST and other allied laws provisions too. So at the beginning itself, introduction itself, my gentle, humble request to all my dear students to have a good theoretical base before knowing all these practical perspectives, practical procedures with regarding to all these filings and all. Regarding income tax, definitely yes, you should know the basic computation. You should know the determination of residential status. You should know the charging section. You should know uh, various heads of income, starting from salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain, income from other sources, plus that clubbing provisions, set off and carry forward provisions, deductions under Chapter 6A, then those computations of various rebates, reliefs, double taxation reliefs, etc. Afterwards, how to compute taxes. That too, for individuals per se, there are two types of tax computations. Default regime alias new regime 115 BAC is there. Opt-out regime alias old regime is also there. So you should be knowing those fundamental provisions, how to compute the taxes. Afterwards, definitely yes, with regarding to those assessment and return submission provisions, section 139 deals with how to submit a return. Those things, etc. With regarding to those return submission, definitely yes, we would be discussing. But anyhow, that provisions with regarding to those submission of income tax returns, along with assessment proceedings, 143(1) assessment, regular assessment under section 143(3), best judgment assessment under section 144, income escapement assessment under section 147, along with 153C and all, inspection and raid assessments, search assessments, etc. Plus various provisions regarding appeal, revision of commissioners, etc. Plus with regarding to those TDS, TCS provisions ranging from section 192 to 196D as far as TDS is concerned, 206C sections dealing with TCS provisions. So all these fundamental provisions and sections, theoretically, you should have a strict or tighter grip. From that only, definitely you can have a practical overview with regarding to these income tax related e-procedures, e-filings, compliances, etc. So with this background, let me on to those practical things that we are going to have with. And we all know from the tax year 2026-27, new Income Tax Act 2025 is going to get enacted with. So whether this 1/4/2026 onwards, the new Income Tax Act related things would be there. The thing is, you should fundamentally know that the previous year assessment year concept, which is existing as per this Income Tax Act 1961, is going to have a dynamic shift in this Income Tax Act 2025. So here, previous year assessment year concept is there. As we all know, relevant previous year is previous year 24-25, and assessment year is assessment year 25-26. And for this assessment year, when it becomes the previous year 25-26, the assessment year would be 26-27. So this existing income tax would be applicable to the relevant assessment year 25-26 as well as assessment year 26-27 with regarding to this current previous year or the running previous year 25-26. only for those incomes which are going to get earned after 1/4/2026 would be made applicable for this new Income Tax Act 2025. So in this Income Tax 2025, the fundamental functional difference is instead of using these two terms, previous year assessment year, only a single term, tax year, is being used. So why I am telling all these things is definitely yes, this income tax is going to have a bright sort of professional practice area as far as we, the cost and management accountants, are concerned, either in form of a practicing cost accountant or in form of an employee in an organization. This income tax provisions is going to have a huge leap as far as the opportunities are concerned. So all the young minds, my gentle humble request is to have an grip over the practical compliance perspective as far as these income tax provisions are concerned, procedures are concerned. So with this again, as I was trying to mention you, with regarding to the relevance of all these e-filing, all these electronic way of return submissions, etc. Before on to which I do hope that you all have went through your syllabus, 20-hour syllabus with regarding to the things that we are going to discuss. So before on to the session itself, my general instruction to all my students is when and where any doubts comes onto your mind, any points to be clarified, you are having in your screen Q&A column, question and answer column. Definitely yes. You may type your queries and all those questions will be answered either at the time of your question itself, nor at the end of this session. 15-20 minutes would be dedicated towards answering your questions only. So when and where some clarity is required, when and where something has to be more discussed, we would be giving that clarity on your questions. So kindly do feel free to have an interactive session. So with all these introductory words, with all your kind permission, let me on to the portions to be covered with. And in your syllabus itself, the first and foremost thing that we have to discuss is with regarding to PAN, 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 permanent account number. So this permanent account number, PAN, is the identification 10-digit alphanumeric number allotted by Income Tax Department to any person who have applied for this PAN. So just by having a PAN, whether you would become an assessee, the answer is no. Just for the reason you are having a PAN doesn't mean you are an assessee under Income Tax Act. You all definitely yes may have appreciated the definition of the term assessee under Section 2, Clause 7 of Income Tax Act, wherein the term assessee is being defined to be as a person whom any tax or any other proceedings under Income Tax Act is initiated and includes deemed assessee and assessee in default. So any amount of tax payable or any other demand payable or on behalf of some other persons he is deemed to be an assessee or he defaults somewhere, in that perspective only some person would become an assessee as far as income tax is concerned. Just for the reason you are having a PAN, you are not being classified to be as an assessee, first of all. So when this Bhuvaneshwari, sir, so message, I do think you are acknowledging me or giving me a positive feedback. I do expect any questions definitely is in that question and answer box you can text with. So the point that I want to mention is with regarding to the term or the concept behind the concept of permanent account number, 10-digit alphanumeric number. If view are earning something, or if you are not at all earning something, but for some other purposes, you may have applied for PAN. So just by having a PAN, I was trying to tell you, you need not be an assessee. So you are an assessee only if those conditions, as I mentioned in that definition of the section 2.7 comes with. Then on the basis of this PAN, you can see what are all the particulars which are available in this PAN. So hope that screen is visible to you. It would have been written income tax department, both in Hindi as well as in English. Bharat Sarkar, government of India has been there. Then your name, your first name, your middle name along with surname would be mentioned in that PAN along with the date of birth, and your 10-digit PAN would be displayed here also. In case of an individual, individual's photo also would be embossed in this portion. In case of a non-individual, may you be a partnership firm, a limited liability partnership, a private limited company, a society, trust, etc. Then only this hologram would be there. No photos would be displayed over here. So only for individuals, this photo option is there. That too for individuals. If you are a minor person, minor's photo also would not be appeared here. Then in that case, your name along with name of father would be appear. For non-minors also name of father would be there. But for minor PAN card would be written. No photo would be affixed. So minor, after attaining majority, have to ratify this old minor card to be as an normal PAN card. So in this context, except for minor, all the individuals' photo would be affixed here. Date of birth would be here. For non-individuals, date of incorporation. Say yourself to be a private limited company, date of incorporation of this company would be affixed here. In case of a partnership, date of registration of partnership would be affixed here. In this way, date of incorporation of date of birth would be there. Apart from which I was mentioning this to be PAN, permanent account number. So this is an dummy PAN, ABCD 1, 2, 3, 4 A is been given. It's an alphanumeric number. First 5 digits would be alphabets. Next 4 digits would be numerics, and final digit again would be an alphabet. So this is the pattern of this PAN. So first 5 digits would be alphabets. Next 4 digits would be numerics. Final 10th digit would be another alphabet. So this is the sequence under which the fifth alphabet in that series would be the first letter of your surname. Suppose my name being Ajit Shivadas. So Shivadas being my surname. So fifth letter of my PAN would be S. So in that way you can identify somewhat about this PAN. Then fourth letter of your PAN would be your personal status. If you are an individual person, P would be your fourth letter. Yourself to be a company, C would be your fourth letter. Yourself to be a trust, T would be your fourth letter. In that way, fourth letter usually denotes the status of that individual, whether they are a person, whether they are individual, whether they are company, partnership firm, etc. You can easily identify by going through fourth letter. So in this way, apart from these two letters, fourth letters which indicates your personal status, fifth letter indicating your first letter of your surname, apart from which no other letters you can identify or you can correlate with your name or particulars. All those things would be auto-generated by the departmental software. So this is how a PAN would be. Now the portion or the syllabus doesn't pertain or confine to the term PAN. Rather, the term is EPAN, electronic PAN. So how to get with this electronic PAN is the next question that we have to answer with. So before which, just for the sake of better clarity, I just began the session So somebody says voice not audible. So any issues regarding voice? Annapurna madam, am I audible? Any issue regarding voice? And somebody says no screen visible. Some others kindly do text whether it is okay with you. Am I audible? Whether my screen is visible to you? Kindly do text on your question and answer box. Some please. No. It's audible. It's audible. I don't know whether somebody may be having some issues in your gadgets. So kindly do relog in. Kindly do check your gadgets. It's okay. It's actually. Yes, everybody says yes. So the remaining persons kindly do check your gadgets, please. So back again. So the point that I want to tell you is about e-PAN, electronic PAN. So this PAN is a physical PAN. That PAN you would be getting if you fill and give an application to Income Tax Department in form 49A. It's a form, paper form. In that paper form, you have to fix your photograph if you are an individual. You have to give the particulars with regarding to your name in full. You have to give the name of your father, your address, your date of birth. Then you have to attach some identification proofs, Aadhaar number, Aadhaars, etc. You would be required to attach now as a mandatory column. Then afterwards, you would be required to go to an income tax in facilitation center. There you have to make the payment 110 rupees, under which you would be required to make an application fee. Afterwards, you would be receiving PAN within 15 to 20 days in physical. You can check the PAN application status in NSDL or UTA website also. So this is the normal procedure for application of this PAN. But now the Income Tax Department have come up with new technological advancement wherein there is no requirement to go for all these physical sort of things to be done in order to get a PAN. Rather, by using Aadhaar itself, by using electronic portal, so here the fundamental thing is you have to, in that portal itself, you can go about to give your Aadhaar number and instant PAN just by giving OTP, which is being generated to your Aadhaar linked mobile number. You can instantly get that PAN, which is being termed to be as instant e-PAN. So how to get this instant e-PAN? In Google itself, you may type instant e-PAN. That would lead you to the income tax portal wherein you can give basic Aadhaar number. Then if you click that button, generate OTP, automatically that OTP would be generated to your Aadhaar linked mobile number. Using that OTP, using the details and the photographs in Aadhaar, PAN automatically would be generated because all those particulars would be there in your Aadhaar. So without uploading any other more documents, instant PAN would be generated within 2 minutes. You can generate that electronic PAN. So this is how, instead of that traditional way of application for PAN, you would be having this instant e-PAN. So till now we were discussing about what a PAN is, what is a e-PAN, etc. Now, as I mentioned earlier, PAN is nothing but an identification number as far as Income Tax Department is concerned. You yourself as students, definitely yes, you are having your own student registration ID. So this student registration ID would be given at the time of application for your examinations for the purpose of getting any of those certificates or any of those correspondence with the department. When the institute, you would be quoting your name along with your registration ID, student registration ID. So just as if student registration ID for you, the student with that of the institute, PAN is the identification, or PAN is that identification number as far as income tax is concerned, for your income tax return submission purposes, payment of tax purposes, any other sort of correspondences for the purpose of issuing notice from the department, for the purpose of replying back to those notices, etc. PAN being your fundamental identification number. Now, so I was first itself, I was distincting those requirement of PAN, or if you are having a PAN, that doesn't denote yourself to be an assessee. I was mentioning. Now the point is, if you are having a PAN, then whether you are mandatorily required to file the returns is the question. So there definitely yes. If only you are having that income which is taxable under income tax provisions, then only you are mandatorily required to file the return. If only section number 139 of Income Tax Act asks you to file the return. So this is what about this format of EPAN and all. Now let us discuss what is this EPAN. So I was mentioning physical PAN would be like this. But what is EPAN? EPAN is a digitally signed permanent account number issued in electronic format. So now I have scrolled from one slide to another. Of the second slide, now it is visible. Somebody was telling only PAN card was visible. Till now, my dear students, only that first slide was being shared. Now I am trying to turn on my PowerPoint slides. Somebody again is telling I am not audible. If any of such issues persist, some more text would have been appeared. So I don't think that to be problem from institute side. So kindly do relog in. There are no issues as far as the volume or any particular listening sort of things are concerned. So in this context, let me continue. So what is EPAN? I have shared. Yes. EPAN is a digitally signed PAN issued in electronic format. It serves as a valid proof of identity and is equally valid as a physical PAN card. It is issued by Income Tax Department, NSDL, UTI, ITSL. So two web portal, or there are two depository participants as far as income tax is concerned. It is NSDL as well as UTI, ITSL. So you can apply for a PAN using this two web portals, UTI web portal as well as NSDL web portal. Some question, the Bashmo goes, sir, PAN generated from DigiLocker is EPAN 2. You cannot generate PAN from DigiLocker. Already, what do you call, having a PAN would be reiterated or would be regenerated by DigiLocker. That's it. So in DigiLocker also, it's in electronic format, but it cannot be directly told to have been an electronic PAN. Electronic PAN is an electronic PAN issued by Income Tax Department. Issued by Income Tax Department using these two web portals, NSDL or UTI. It can be downloaded using Aadhaar number, PAN acknowledgement number. You can download it. If you have physically applied for the PAN, then if that PAN is allotted, you can type and you can get it through this download by using this PAN acknowledgement number. Then I was mentioning you how to apply for this EPAN. For applying for this EPAN, just Google apply for EPAN. You give your Aadhaar number, you would be getting that OTP. Using that OTP, definitely yes, you can download, or the system would be extracting all the details in Aadhaar, including your photograph in there, from where you can download your electronic PAN quickly. Then, what are all those importance of PAN? Why you should have this PAN is the next question. So whether or not it is an electronic PAN or a physical PAN, all these facilities you can use with the help of this PAN. Prima facie, at the first part of discussion itself, I was mentioning that this PAN is the basic identification number of an assessee with income tax department. You can correspond with the department, or any of those communications to or from the department should be using this PAN only for the purpose of paying the taxes, for the purpose of submitting the income tax returns, to give a reply to the department. For all those correspondences, definitely yes, PAN is a must. Even though it's an income tax sort of an identification number, there are certain transactions other than income tax correspondence, other than income tax payment, other than income tax return submissions, etc. There are various places wherein mandatorily you would be required to submit PAN or PAN details or copy of a PAN card. Suppose if you are depositing more than 50,000 rupees in a bank account, cash you are trying to deposit in a bank account, mandatorily the bank would be asking you to have PAN card copy. Or if you are having a term deposit more than 2 lakh rupees, PAN would be a mandatory requirement for a bank. Or if you are purchasing a 2-wheeler, a 4-wheeler, if you are purchasing, PAN is a must. If you are trying to register some immobile properties before register, PAN would be asked there. So in all these places, there are various places other than those things I was mentioning, wherein this PAN is a must. But now PAN and Aadhaar has been given equal sort of powers or equal sort of values. There in any place wherein PAN is required to be submitted, Aadhaar also would suffice. Why the government is having all these PAN to be linked with all these high value transactions? Then only the income tax department would be knowing what are all those transactions that the assessee has done. Only by linking all those high value transactions with mandatory submission of PAN, income tax department can definitely go ahead and get track of those transactions. Then if you are not having PAN, if no TDS has been deducted, some TDS has to be deducted from you. And if you are not having any PAN, then instead of deducting it at normal rate, higher rate of TDS, section 206AA would be applicable. Suppose, for example, an assessee who's a contractor, normal TDS would have been 1%. But if that contractor, if they are not having a valid PAN, then definitely yes, section 206AA would be made applicable. 20% instead of 1%, 20% of 20% of TDS would be deducted from that contractor. So in this way, in order to avoid higher TDS deduction, definitely yes, you should have a PAN. So those 3 points, again to nutshell, I was mentioning. Sir, can you please talk in Hindi too? The thing is, it's an pan India sort of a session. So English only is a common language that then actually we can share about. Kindly do excuse. In another question, sir, if we want a physical PAN, so we can download ePAN also. Yes, even though if you are having that physical PAN, ePAN also can be downloaded from that web portal. Then the points that I was telling till now regarding that importance of PAN. PAN is used as a correspondence ID for all those correspondences, returns, payment with income tax department. And various high value transactions I was mentioning, all places you would be required to submit a PAN copy. Then if you are not having that valid PAN, then higher rate of TDS would be applicable. Then now if we are going to apply for a PAN, definitely yes, Aadhaar is a mandatory document. Without Aadhaar, you won't get an PAN right now. But those PAN which has been taken before all these mandatory points, various deadlines have been set by the government to link PAN with Aadhaar. So any of those PANs not linked with Aadhaar till now would be an invalidated PAN. Even though you are having a PAN with you, if it is not been linked with Aadhaar, yet it would have been become an invalid PAN, and thereby this section that I was mentioning with regarding to section 206 AA would be attracted and higher rate of TDS would be applicable if you have not linked your PAN with Aadhaar also. And Sanjay is asking what happens if individual have more than one PAN. The thing is, dear Sanjay, you are not allowed to have more than a single PAN. But if you have unknowingly applied or if you are having more than a single PAN, then one PAN you would be required to surrender. You are required to surrender. You would be required to surrender this duplicate PAN or more than one PAN if you are having. The remaining PAN you would be required to surrender with. Otherwise, there is a penalty of 10,000 rupees under income tax provisions itself. And it's actually an anti-national sort of practice also to have more than a single identity in form of duplicated PANs. Yes. So in this way, you are not supposed to have more than a single PAN I was mentioning. Then financial transparency. It is actually the second point's extension. I was mentioning you this transactions entered by assessee. If PAN is a mandatory document to indulge onto those transactions, and if those transactions are being entered by the assessee, then the track would be received by the department if you have linked PAN with those transactions. So financial transparency would be there. Then there were a lot of transactions I was mentioning. To purchase a two-wheeler, four-wheeler I was mentioning. To deposit cash more than 50,000 I was mentioning. 2 lakh and above term deposit I was mentioning. Opening various bank accounts. To apply for debit card, credit card. To open a demat account. All these instances, definitely yes, PAN is a must. And I was also mentioning nowadays PAN is treated par with Aadhaar. So thereby one among those documents being a mandatory document for the time being. Then this PAN can be used as an identification document also. So it's a general identification. For the reason in PAN, address would not be there. So places where address sort of verification ID is required, then PAN would not be usable. In trains, for traveling purposes, etc. In flights and all, definitely yes. In airports and all, you can show this PAN to be as an identification document. There's a general identification, age verification document. No address would be available. Thereby, places where an address verification is required, you cannot produce PAN. So Prarthana was asking, what will happen if we not link PAN with Aadhaar? Nowadays, the PAN and Aadhaar, by giving Aadhaar only, you would be receiving the PAN. But I was mentioning earlier, it was not so the case. So at that juncture, if you have not linked PAN with those Aadhaars, then PAN would become invalidated. PAN would become invalidated. And some amnesties were being, some schemes were being announced by government to pay 1,000 rupees and to link your PAN with Aadhaar after that specific due date. If that option is also over, then you would be required to apply for a fresh PAN because your existing PAN would have been invalidated. Whether it is been linked with PAN or Aadhaar, in the income tax web portal itself, option is there to see status of your PAN. You can check with. As you mentioned above that without Aadhaar, we are not allowed to have a PAN. So why PAN is important in e-filing? Why not Aadhaar? And Aadhaar is the one and only identity of person and legal document too. Yes, your question is valid. Even though PAN and Aadhaar, instead of all places, PAN can be given in place of Aadhaar, but it is not so the case in income tax sort of filing. Suppose if you want to register an immovable property, even though you are not having a PAN, you can give your Aadhaar and can register the same. If you are not having a valid PAN, while opening a bank account, you can give your Aadhaar number and you can open your bank account. But in order to file an income tax return to create a challan, the department have not facilitated to give those Aadhaar details. There in those columns, you would be required to give PAN details only. Yes. How to make a PAN and all? Definitely, yes, I would be discussing in your later slides. Without PAN, you cannot file ITR because only with the PAN, you can go and register in your income tax portal. So how to register and all, we would be discussing later. For the time being, what I am trying to tell you is what a PAN is all about. Physical PAN already I have mentioned. E-PAN also I have mentioned. Then I am trying to give you some theoretical basis with regarding to those important concepts, etc. Now, how to apply for PAN? I was mentioning you. I have already mentioned two types of application of PAN. You can do physical application as well as electronic application. E-PAN I was mentioning both online also law as well as offline also. You can go and go for your application. On online itself, again, two options were there. I was mentioning you. One, online form 49A itself. Second one, instant PAN, instant e-PAN using your Aadhaar number, Aadhaar linked mobile number. You would be receiving one OTP using which you can do those things I was mentioning. So in this case, definitely yes. The point is how to apply your PAN. So offline, two forms are there. Form 49A and 49AA. Form 49A is applicable for Indian citizens or any other than individuals, partnership firm companies, etc. incorporated in India. So for these two types of entities, Form 49A can be used. Other than that of those Indian citizens entity incorporated in India, for foreign entities or foreign citizens, the form would be 49AA. So this 49 form and all we would be discussing, how to fill and all we would be discussing. Just for the time's sake, you just understand the form wherein you have to apply to get a PAN form is form 49A. For foreign citizens, it would be 49AA. That's it. Then for your online PAN, I was mentioning you, two types were there. Instant Aadhaar linked PAN would be there by grabbing all those Aadhaar documents which is available. From there, Income Tax Department would be extracting the data, including your photograph. Then instantly that Aadhaar card would be issued. But there are instances wherein that Aadhaar linked mobile number or Aadhaar card sort of things may not be there. So in such situations, definitely yes. Third, normal physical sort of 49A that you are writing and giving before income tax utility sender, TIN facilitation sender, and to get that physical card within 15-20 days, as I was mentioning. Instead of going before TIN NSDL unit, using these two web portals, UTA web portal as well as NSDL web portal I was mentioning. In those web portals, the same 49A that you physically applied would be online visible. So in the online web portal itself, by uploading your photograph, by uploading your signed signature photograph, by typing various particulars like your name, father's name, address, your date of birth, and uploading your identification numbers, Aadhaar, etc. You can make the online payment also. And in that way, electronically, you can go ahead and you can file this PAN application. So this is the two ways wherein, or these are the two ways wherein you can apply for the PAN. Offline method and online method. That online method also I was mentioning, two methods are there. Normal 49A, all those particulars you would be getting the PAN. But if your Aadhaar is there, it is a new facility that has been introduced. Aadhaar is there, you enter your Aadhaar. If all those particulars are okay with Aadhaar, then you can easily get instant PAN you would be getting. So this is how practically you have to go for this PAN application. Till now, hope my lecture is comfortable to you. Whatever I was trying to convey, you are getting appreciated, I do think. Anything that I want to consider, kindly do tell me. Somebody was telling me to be a bit slower. So any other sort of things, definitely yes, you may comment that accordingly the furtherance would be done with. So till now, PAN I have mentioned, e-PAN I have mentioned, importance of PAN I have mentioned, as well as this procedure for filing PAN. We are trying to do it. So till now, actually some messages again, Harpreet Kaur and all. Voice is not audible, screen is not visible. It's not an issue from this end. Kindly do check in with your gadgets, because almost 275, 300 students are there, within which only 5 to 6 are having some complaints. So definitely it's your and some issues. Kindly do try to get over those issues. Back to my topic, how to apply for PAN. So in that context, online, I was mentioning you either to go for UTI or NSDL. There, if you go to this UTI portal, you may see www.pan.utitsl.com. You have to go. If you visit this web address, you may see this many options. PAN card for Indian citizen, PAN card for foreign citizens, because 49A and 49AA, two forms are there for Indian citizen, foreign citizen. Then you would be required to go click this PAN if some changes or corrections are there. Initially, you had done applied for PAN, but some mistakes crept in. Maybe your name may be in some containing some spelling errors, or your date of birth is having some mistakes. Name of father, some issues are there. So in such cases, or some updates have been there in your name or any of those particulars, then you can change the PAN particulars by clicking this change or correction in PAN. Then I was mentioning, even though you are having a physical PAN right now, by clicking here, you can download the ePAN. Then using the PAN number, you can reprint your PAN. That PDF sort of format will be there. You can color print and you can what do you call? Take it as a physical card also. You can laminate it also. So in this way, this many options could be there. So if you want to apply for the PAN for Indian citizen, PAN card for Indian citizen NRI, you click. Then if you click for this new PAN, I was mentioning 49A and 49AA, etc. are there. So therein I was mentioning, if you are applying for new PAN, you can click for here. So if you are already having PAN and if you want to download that ePAN, this option you can use with. This would be the form of this form 49A. So in this two way, you can again apply for this online option. In online option itself is a hybrid mode. Physical mode, if you click and if you give all those particulars, it would go for a offline mode of submission. Instead of writing in that form 49A and submitting it before income tax facilitation center, here online, if you type all those particulars, you can print, you have to fix your photograph, you have to sign along with the documents, you will be required again to submit before UTI. If you click this physical mode. But if you click this digital mode, I was mentioning Aadhaar based eKYC option is there. Digital signature wise or e-sign wise options are there, wherein easily you can submit the PAN without going to this UTISL offices physically. So after clicking the same, you have to select the category, whether we are an individual partnership firm. In that way, you would be required to do this. Then you have to give the option whether you want to have physical PAN also. Step 3, somebody wants to explain again. I would come back to that point, sir. Kindly do wait. So here, step number 4, physical mode, digital mode. Under digital mode, signature, eKYC, or e-sign mode or digital signature if you are having, you can do, or Aadhaar based eKYC also you can do. Afterwards, you have to give the category of status, individual, partnership firm, company, etc. And how you want to have this PAN, whether in physical mode and ePAN or in ePAN only, you can go about. Afterwards, if you submit, then those details you would be required to give. Personal details, your name, first name, middle name, surname. So how you have to be greeted with, whether it is Mr., Mrs., Mrs., etc. you would be required to give. Those personal details you would be required to give name on card, etc. How to it should appear in card. That also you can give as an option. Then you would be required to give those document details, Aadhaar card, PAN, passport, whatever you are trying to upload as an corroborative evidences. Then contact address as well as parental details you would be required to give. Afterwards, all those documents you would be required to upload. So column by column, you would be required to give those particulars. So personal details, document details, contact and parental details, address details, other details, and document uploading you would be required to give in this step number 6. Then finally, you would be required to make that online application fee also. Then if you have selected for a physical mode, you have to take the printout, you have to affix the photograph, signature, and you would be required to give to this address in Chennai region. If you are, this address you would be required to give it. So in this way, physical mode you can, but if it was an online mode, no requirement is there. You can directly get that acknowledgement and EPAN would be instantly generated too. And somebody was asking me to explain the steps again. The steps again, I will be telling you. Step number 1. Website, you have to use this UTI website. This many options it would be applicable. Step number 2. Step number 3. I was mentioning you 49A or 49AA. You have to click. 49A is for Indian citizens. For foreign citizens, it is 49AA. So somebody was asking me step number 3, nothing more. In this step number 3, 49A or 49AA, you have to select. If you select 49A, physical mode, again you would be required to post it to this UTI office. Digital mode, then digitally you can sign or Aadhaar OTP if you can. There is no requirement to sign the physical listing. Then those personal details, document details, contact and parental details, address details, other details you have to give, and the documents you can upload. In this way, all those things would be given to that portal. Afterwards, the payment window would come after making that digital payment. If it is offline mode, you have to affix photograph signature and have to send it to this UTI address. So this is how this UTI website sort of a thing is. Again, in NSDL also, similar sort of things you would be required to do. NSDL website is online services.pro Tech in is their website. Using that website, the same form 49A, 49AA would be there. You have to give all these details, similar details as we were mentioning. Then similarly, you would be required to give all those signature photos, everything you would be required to give. Then if it is physically, then you have to send it to that Protein Ego Technology Limited address. If it is an electronic form, then there is no requirement to go for this thing. So this is how under NSDL also you would be required to do similar sort of things only. Both are one and the same, UTI or NSDL. Both things would give you the same PAN. The only thing is the income tax department have assigned 2 depository participants to issue PAN, both UTI as well as NSDL. Both are having equal validity. Now other changes, 2 agencies are there. That's it. Then somebody was asking how to change minor PAN to major PAN. After achieving this majority, you have to repatriate. You have to convert this minor to major. you have to approach the jurisdictional assessing officer to convert the same. Physically, you have to go to the income tax officer and you have to consult and you have to convert it. Online instant PAN, how much time it would take? If it's an instant PAN, Aadhaar link sort of thing, within a couple of minutes, you can download the same. After giving the same, it would automatically be generated. But if it is a normal ePAN, then within 2 to 3 days, it would be appearing. You can check at PAN tracking status. PAN number would be appeared. Then from electronic PAN downloading window I was mentioning you, from there you can do it. Recording window would be there. Kindly don't worry. It's a live class. Recording window would be there. It would be shared to you. Kindly don't get worried. Now, so these are all those things that till now I was mentioning how to apply for PAN. And after applying the PAN, how to download it. How to download it from this UTA website or NSTL website. After logging in, download ePAN option was there. By giving the basic details, you would get a link. From that link, you would be receiving that ePAN and one OTP would be generated also to your Aadhaar linked mobile number, using which you can download it. So in that website itself, I was already I had shown you this UTA website. Download ePAN option is there. You can download it from this option. NSCL also similarly, you can download from this protein portal. Then finally, with regarding to this changes or correction, I was mentioning you in this portal itself that option to change corrections, change your corrections in PAN card. Option is there. UTA website, NSCL website also. This option would be there. Suppose some mistakes crept in while applying for PAN, some change in name, change in this date of birth or any name of father, etc. If you want to change, then using this option, you can submit the alternate. You can submit your existing PAN card, etc. Then you can upload this updated details, documents, etc. You have to do. Afterwards, again the payment, same amount that you would be required to pay. Afterwards, you would be getting this changed ePAN also. You can download it from that download column 2. So this is how this PAN would be, or any details in PAN would have been changed, or corrections if required would be made with. Again, I would be telling you it's indifferent UTI or NSDL, both are equal. Both are equal. Both are equal. Instant PAN also is having a same status. If you want to have that physical physical PAN application also you can give to get that physical PAN. Instant PAN is not a temporary one. It can also be generated. Only thing is Aadhaar details only would be generated. So if all the details in Aadhaar are perfect and Aadhaar is having connected with any of your mobile number, then instant PAN is the best option. Yes, I was mentioning you Himand. The point was definitely yes, this would be recorded and that link would be shared to you. You just contact with BOS, Board of Studies. Can we add our spouse name in the PAN by making changes in PAN card? Yes, yes, yes. That way also you may. But that correspondence, that name, say for example, usually some say name is Lakshmi. Mukundan is the name afterwards. After marriage, if they want to convert to Lakshmi Ajit, or in that way, if you want to convert, Any other document having that documental evidence, you would be required to get by uploading the same. With that thing, definitely yes, you can change your name. Suddenly or directly, you cannot. You are restrained to do it. You should have an alternate document wherein that new name appears. Then only you can do it. Yes. So this is the first part of our discussion. So for the first hour, almost 1 hour over. PPT also would be shared. Don't worry. What is Demat account? Somebody was asking. Demat account is an account required to trade your shares in a stock market. So Demat is an online account for trading your shares. So these are all those things as far as the first part is concerned regarding PAN. So after PAN, definitely yes, we are moving on to discuss with the income tax returns provision. So somebody was asking, you have not covered your income tax provisions. Then again, I am trying to start from the scratch. By listening to these sessions, I do believe, I do hope those who are not, even not having that fundamental income tax provisions also would be appreciating the classes. But anyhow, a fundamental sort of theoretical knowledge is expected so that you can link those theoretical things with that of practical sort of return filings, etc., like compliance proceedings. So now let us move on to discuss with the income tax returns sort of compliance procedure. So you are having, yes, Sumit Patak have asked another thing. My name is name in PAN is Sumit Patak, but when I try to log into MCSI, it's showing with another name on the back. That's why the thing is Patak has been given to be you as your surname, and that surname would be appearing as your main name. That is the issue. If you want to change that correction option, you can do and you can rectify that mistake. Lot of questions regarding attendance. Kindly don't worry about the attendance. The department would be taking care about. So back to the portion, back to the provision. So I was trying to give you an idea about income tax return. Income tax returns, I was mentioning you, is the procedure for corresponding with the department, informing the department about various income earned during the previous year, computing the tax and remitting the tax. May it have been in form of advance tax, in form of TDS, TCS. Some others may have done it. Plus any other tax that you are liable to pay now after taking all those credits. Some amount is still pending to be payable. 140A self-assessment tax you can pay. And you are submitting your income tax returns to the department. So fundamentally, it is an self-assessment as far as the return submission is concerned. Or all the other procedures, verification of income tax department, etc., would come up only after your initial filing of returns. So in this way, if you have filed the returns, then that return would be processed by the department. And afterwards, this verification would be done. For that purpose only, those assessment under section 143.1, 143.3, 144, etc. departmental assessments are there. Or if you have not submitted the returns, then the department would be asking you to submit the return, then the assessment would take place under income escapement assessment, etc. So in that way, the return submission is done by the assessee end, unless otherwise taken for scrutiny, etc. The return submitted is said to have been accepted by the department. So in this way, the returns is a statement submitted by the assessee to the department with regarding to the income earned, losses incurred, how they derived onto those income, various deductions under chapter 6A, various other rebates, reliefs, etc. claimed, and you are submitting your returns before the department. It is nothing but statement of your income submitted in an specified format. Now, almost every returns has to be submitted online. Only a handful situations you can still continue to file your returns before jurisdictional assessing officer. 99.99% cases, returns has to be submitted online via income tax e-portal. What is that income tax e-portal? How to submit the returns, everything. The later sessions, we would be definitely practically discussing. In actual income tax web portal, we would be trying to figure out how to submit the returns and all. Today, only the theoretical base I want to start with. So income tax returns already I have mentioned is an statement of income computation self-assessed by the assessee, submitted in a prescribed online form, submitted via income tax web portal. It would be verified and assessment would be done by the department. So where do the statute prescribe about this income tax return procedure? If you ask, section 139 of present Income Tax Act 1961 tells you about the return submission procedure provision. Section 139 talks about returns. So what is a return? Already I have mentioned. What are those various types of returns that assessee have to submit? Within what due date you are supposed to submit? Who and all are required to submit the returns? Everything are being mentioned under this section 139. So fundamental section with regarding to this income tax returns being section 139 itself. Under this section 139, various subsections are there. Subsection number 1, subsection number 3, subsection number 4, 5, 8A, 4C, 4B, 4D, etc. sort of various subsections are also there. So in this belief, definitely yes, this section 139 is a section wherein section wherein the entirety of the provisions with regarding to this submission of returns are being mentioned. So with regarding to the same, section 139(1) deals with who and all the persons who are mandatorily required to file the return. So somebody was asking if we are having a PAN, whether we should submit an income tax return. Answer is no. Because if only this section 139(1) mandatorily requires you to file the return, then only you can file the return, although you are mandatorily required to file the return. So another question may come. If it is not mandatory to file the return, voluntarily whether we can file it? Answer is yes. So mandatorily, these many persons have to submit the returns are being mentioned under section 139, subsection number 1. So who are all the persons who are mandatorily required to file the returns? You may see in the PowerPoint right now. A company, a partnership firm is mandatorily required to file an income tax return. So company firm includes limited liability partnership also. So if you are a company assessee, if you are a partnership firm, if you are a limited liability partnership, then you are mandatorily required to file the return, even though you are not having profit. If you are having profit, if you are running your business, not running your business, in all those circumstances, until and unless your company or your partnership firm is dissolved, in all other situations, mandatorily you yourself being a company, partnership firm, limited liability partnership is bound to file the income tax returns. Point number 1. Other than a company, other than a partnership, suppose myself to be an individual, when I would be mandatorily required to file the return, or I am a cooperative society, I am a charity, I am a trust, or I am another association of person or body of individual. Then in such cases, other than this company or firm, myself being an individual, AOP, POI, or these forms of cooperative societies, etc., when it is mandatory to file the return, if we ask, the section says, if you want to, if you are having an income more than basic exemption limit, then you are mandatorily required to file the return. What is basic exemption limit? We know 2.5 lakh is under old regime, 3 lakh is under a new regime, as far as individuals are concerned. In that way, if your total income before various deductions and exemptions, chapter 6A deductions are there, various exemptions are there, yes, income tax benefits are there. So before those income tax exemptions and deductions, if your income is more than maximum amount not chargeable under income tax, then you are mandatorily required to file the return. So in this context, definitely yes, you are other than company or a partnership firm, you are not mandatorily required to file the return unless you are having income more than basic exemption limit. So now a question would come. This year I have incurred loss. There is no mandatoriness in order to file the return. Then whether I have to file the return? Yes, it is preferable to file the return if only you file the income tax return within 139 one-time limit. This year's loss can be carried forward to next year. In case of the profits, you can set off such profits with that of those losses. So in this way, you can get with this sort of set off and carry forward of losses provisions by submitting the returns as loss. But the thing is, just having a loss, you have not submitted the return. Department cannot proceed against you for not filing the returns. That is the point. But it is preferable, even though it is a loss, you file the return that you can carry forward your losses. So in this way, section 139 subsection 1 tells you about who are the persons mandatorily required to file the return. Hope that point is clear to you. Subsection number 1. Then there is an exception to this subsection number 1. What is exception? So I was mentioning you a partnership firm or a privately limited company is mandatorily required to file the return. Other than private limited company or a company, private or public limited company and a partnership firm, other than those entities, individual, etc., would be required to file the return mandatorily only if their income is more than basic exception limit I was mentioning. So in that category, other than individual, other than firm and company, again you would be required to mandatory file the return if any of those transactions you are having. Suppose myself to be an individual, my income is less than 2.5 lakh, but again I would be required to file the return provided this transactions, any of those I have indulged with. Seventh proviso through this section 139 talks about even though my income is lower than those basic exemption limit, yet again I would be required to file this mandatory returns. So what are all those circumstances? If you see, if I am having any beneficial ownership of any asset located outside India, if I am a beneficiary of an asset outside India, if I have deposited any amount more than 1 crore in any of those current accounts, if I have incurred expenditure more than 2 lakh rupees for foreign travel, etc., if I have incurred expenditure more than 1 lakh towards consumption of electricity, etc., if I am having any sales, turnover, gross receipts of business 60 lakhs or more, if in case of a profession I am having receipts more than 10 lakhs, if any TDS has been deducted from me, in case of a normal citizen 5,000 rupees, in case of a senior citizen 50,000 rupees or more, TDS has been deducted. Other than in current account, in savings bank account, I have supposed deposited 50 lakh and above. If I am having any credit card, if I am having any membership in club wherein 25,000 and above, annual membership fees is there. So in all these situations, any of those transactions, if I have done with, then definitely yes, you would be mandatorily required to file your income tax returns. So the exception to the point that I was mentioning, the point was that if you are an individual or any other person other than firm or company, you are mandatorily required to file your income tax returns only if your income is more than basic exemption limit. But the seventh proviso says if you indulge, if you have the transactions of any of those in kind, then even though your income is lower than basic limit, it again you would be required to file the return. Mandatory filing of returns is been present, is been prescribed for this proviso, seventh proviso of this section 139. Hope it is clear. Yes. Then I was mentioning, even though you are not required to file your income tax return mandatorily, whether you can voluntarily submit the return if you ask. Voluntary return also can be submitted, even though you are not mandatorily required. Definitely yes. If you have not submitted the return, no issues. But if you want to submit the returns, you can voluntarily submit even though your income is lower than those limits, etc. Then, when you would be required to file the returns? The next question. The section says there are 3 critical due dates, my dear friends. 3 dates are there. 3 dates are there. 3 dates are there. 3 due dates are there. After that due date also, you can file the return. Those things we would be discussing separately. For the time being, when to submit the return? If you ask, you would be required to file the returns within 3 critical due dates, which is applicable for assessees having specific requisites. Say, if you are an assessee and you are having any international transactions and an audit report by an accountant under section 92E is required, arm's length price transactions, etc., then your due date is November 30th of the assessment year. So I was mentioning you the relevant previous year is 24-25 and assessment year being 25-26. In this context, 30th November 2025 would be the due date if you are having any report to be submitted under section 92E, arm's length price related transactions by an accountant. Then 30th November is the last date, due date for filing the returns. Then, if you are supposed to have tax audit under section 44AB of the Act, 44AB of the Act, then definitely yes, the due date for submission of return would be on 31st of October. This month, the 31st. 31st of October 2025 would be the last date, due date for filing income tax returns if you are an assessee who should undergo tax audit, plus company assessees also. Irrespective of whether you are a tax audit assessee or not, companies are having that extended due date of 31st of October. 31st of October would be applicable for all corporate assessees. Plus, I was mentioning you about this tax audit assessees. Then any partner of this tax audit assessees also their due date would be on 31st of October. So this is the second due date. First one I was mentioning you 30th of November. Second one I was mentioning, I had already mentioned 31st of October for 3 categories of persons. For those who are having tax audits, partners of a firm for a tax audit, company assessees, irrespective whether you are having tax audit or not, company assessees due date would be on 31st of October. So in this way, 3 types of persons due date would be on 31st of October, 30th November for international transaction related assessees. Then for any other persons who are not having international transactions or not having any tax audits, their initial date is actual date as per statute is 31st of July, 31st of July, 31st of July. But this year, due to some technical glitches, some portal issues and revamping, it got extended up to 15th of September. Again, in a single day, 16th of September was being given. So the due date for filing income tax returns under section 139(9), 139(1) for these persons would come under this due date 31st of July. This year only up to 16th of September it was been extended. So these are the 3 critical due dates which is been mentioned under section 139(1). So everyone who are here, kindly do text in your question and answer box 3 due dates. Which are they? 3 due dates under section 139(1). Which are they? Kindly do text, please. Kindly do interact. That I would be having that impression that you are all listening to me. So kindly do give me a feedback. Kindly do type 3 due dates. 3 due dates I was mentioned. Please. Hope you are all listening to me. Hope you are all listening to me. Kindly do type 3 due dates. Everyone, please. Three due dates: 31st July 1, 31st October, 30th November. So three due dates are there. Not 31st September, it's 31st October. So three due dates are there. Yes. 31st July. That 31st July got extended to 16th of September, I was mentioning. So kindly don't confuse. 31st July is the actual due date. It got extended this year. That's what I was mentioning you. So somebody was asking me to repeat the due dates. Hope you are all listening right now. So three due dates are there, which is visible on your screen also. 31st of July is the due date. But if audit report under 92E is there, 30th November would be your due date. If you are having tax audit, October 31st would be your due date. So three due dates: July 31st, 30th November, 31st October. Isn't it? (92E) is an I was already mentioning international transactions. If you are having arm's length price sort of certifications has to be given by accountant. In such cases, 92E section would be applicable. On that account, the due date would be on 30th of November. 1 year only it was been extended, otherwise three due dates. Tax audit partner again 31st of October. Good. So three due dates are there. Good. Three due dates: 31st of July. If you are not having any tax audits, no international transactions, 31st of July. 31st of October, company, tax audit firms, partner. International transactions 92E, then it would be 30th of November. Hope it is clear. These are the three due dates within which you are supposed to file the returns within the time limit. Hope it is clear. Can I? Now, if you missed to file this return within this due date, you have not filed the returns. What are all the consequences to be faced with? First and foremost thing, in income tax provisions itself, you may have definitely studied. If you are having any losses other than carry forward of unabsorbed depreciation and some loss from house property, some exceptions. In order to carry forward the losses, your returns to be submitted within this due date. Otherwise, you cannot claim those carry forward of losses option. Then various income-based deductions are there. Section 80P for cooperative societies, 80PA for producers, companies, etc. If you want to claim those deductions, profit-based deductions, you are mandatorily required to file your returns on or before the due date. Otherwise, you cannot claim those deductions. In that way, this critical due date, 31st of July, 31st of October, 30th of November is quite important. But other than for these deductions and exemptions, if you failed to file it on or before this due date, you can still file it on or before 31st of December of that relevant assessment year. So if you are an individual not having any tax audit, you are a salaried employee, you missed to file it on or before 31st of July. Still, you can file it up to 31st of December 2025. So that 31st December 2025 for this relevant assessment year or 31st of December of any assessment year is termed to be as belated return due date. What it is? Belated. Belated, you know, it was not been submitted within the due date, rather after the due date if you are submitting, that after date submission is termed as belated submission of return, which is covered under section 139(4), my dear friends. 139(4) talks about belated return filing, belated return filing, belated return filing. So kindly do note about this belated return filing also. This is belated return, belated return. Can you see this? Belated. Belated return 139(4). So if you want to submit the return even after these three due dates, 31st of July, 31st of October, 30th of November, still you can file the return subject to certain payment of some penalties are there. Some interest under section 234 ABC is there. So by paying the extra interest, by paying the extra late fee, you can still submit the returns after so-called 31st July, 31st October, 30th of November, and that returns are termed to be as belated returns, belated returns, belated returns. Now, by submitting this belated return, as I mentioned, if your income is lesser than 5 lakh rupees, 1000 rupees would be the late fee. If your income is more than 5 lakh rupees, 5000 rupees would be the late fee. Apart from this, per month on tax payable, 234A, 1% interest would be there. 234BC, advance taxes, etc. Extra amounts would have to be paid with. So in this way, if you are not submitting within the due date, late fees, interest, plus non-availment of deductions, exemptions, plus non-carry forward of losses, etc. are the further consequences if you miss the due date. Now, here again, in order to carry forward the loss, this 139(3) is there. 139(3) already I have mentioned. If you want to carry forward these losses, returns has to be submitted within 139 one time limit, which is July 31st, October 31st, and November 30th, which is been mentioned in 139(3). Already I have mentioned. So three subsections already I mentioned: 139(1), 139(3), 2 is not there, 139(4). Then, if you have already submitted the returns, if you have already submitted the returns, then some mistakes crept in while filing the returns, and you want to rectify those mistakes. Maybe some income particulars went wrong, deduction particulars went wrong, exemptions went wrong. You missed to file something. Then within 31st of December, you can revise that return. Revise that return. So that return is termed to be as revised return. Revised return, and that revision has to be done within this 31st of December itself. So within this 31st of December, you may file this revised return also. Revised return also. So this is the next type of return that you want to file. If you have any errors that indulged while filing the same, then this thing is you have to file the returns. Revised return you would be required to file. This section 139(5) deals with revised returns, revised returns, revised returns. So 139(1), timely return, and all the persons who are required to file the return already covered. 139(3), loss return that you have to file within 139(1) in order to carry forward the losses already I have mentioned. 139(4), with regarding to those belated return up to 31st of December I was mentioning. 139(5), which is regarding to those revision of returns, revised return also. I was mentioning in the slide, it has been mentioned till the end of assessment, it's an old provision. Now that date has been reduced to 31st of December, 31st of December, 31st of December. Then there are various other charitable organizations, colleges, hospitals, etc. Those returns 139 for A, for B for political party, for C and for D for those specified hospitals, education institutions, etc. are there. Then if you filed the return, some mistakes crept in and the department found it and they had classified your return to be as a defective return, defective return, defective return. In case your return has been caught as a defective return, within 15 days, you would be required to rectify that return and you have to file the return within 15 days from the date of acceptance of this notice. Then the return has to be filed under section 139(9). 139(9) is a section under which you would be required to file defective returns, defective returns, defective returns. So this return has to be filed, returned, filed, caught some mistakes. You have to rectify that mistake and you have to give a fresh return being termed to be as a defective return under section 139(9), 139(9) of Income Tax Act. So this is another type of return that you have to understand. Above all, another type of return that you can file is termed as updated returns. Updated returns. So kindly don't get confused. Till now, the terms that we have discussed as far as these returns is concerned is first one 139(1). Can anyone or everyone kindly do text? What are all the things that we discussed in 139(1)? Everybody kindly do text. What are all the things that we discussed in 139(1)? We have discussed who and all the persons who are required to file the returns, isn't it? Who are the persons who are required to file the returns? Kindly do text. Who are the persons who are required to file the returns mandatorily? 3 persons we were mentioning. First one, text please. Who are the persons who are required to file the returns mandatorily? These were the 3 due dates. Who are the 3 persons who are required to return file mandatorily? Company, firm, other than company and firm, if your income is more than basic exemption limit. So these 3 persons were mandatorily required to file the income tax returns. Apart from these 3 persons, that proviso we were mentioning, proviso we were mentioning 7th proviso to this section 139(1), wherein if you want to, if you are even though your income is less than basic limit, if you have indulged in various transactions, you would be required to file the return. That electricity bill more than 2 lakh rupees, foreign travel more than 1 lakh rupees, etc. All those things we have discussed already. We have discussed. So in this context, the thing that you have to understand is who are all the persons mandatorily required to file the return. What was the due date to file the return? 3 due dates: 31st July, 31st of October, 30th of September. Who and all already we have discussed. So all these things were mentioned under section 139(1). 139(1). 139(1). Then 139(3) we were mentioning those persons who are having losses also would be required to file it under 139(1). Then only they can carry forward the losses. We had talked it in second section, which is 139(3). 139(2) is not there. So 1 over 3 over. Then 4 we were mentioning belated return. Belated return. Belated return. If you missed to file it on or before 31st of July, then or 31st of October or 30th of November, then again you are having an option to file the return after paying. After paying all these late fee, 1,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, interest under section 234 ABC, you can file the returns under section 139 for belated return up to 31st of December we were mentioned. Then if you have already filed the return, some errors crept in, you can rectify and you can file revised return also within 31st of December we were mentioning. Then 139.9 talked about if you submitted the return, department picked some defects and asked you to rectify those mistakes. Then you would be required to rectify those mistakes and you would be required to refile the returns under section 139.9 of the Act. 139.9 of the Act. So these were all various types of returns that we have already discussed. Now, as final part of our discussion, for the next 5-10 minutes, I would be telling you about updated returns. UP, updated returns. My gentle humble request to all, kindly do text me updated returns. Simply text, please, my request. Updated returns, because this return is quite important section. So everyone kindly do text updated returns, updated returns, please. Everyone. I can see only 20-30 candidates are actually typing. Everyone, my gentle humble request, kindly to type. Updated return. Yes, good. Updated returns. So what is updated returns? Yes, continue typing, please. So what is an updated return? Thank you for your wholehearted cooperation. Updated return. So what does this updated return mean? So I was telling you two type of dates. 139 one date, 139 4 date. 139.1 is the due date without paying any penalty, interest, etc. I can file it up to 31st of July, 31st of October, etc. I was mentioning. After paying this many amounts, I can file it up to 31st of December. Belated returns also I was mentioning. So if you have missed the belated return due date also, if you have missed belated due date returns date also, which is 31st of December, still again, you can file the return voluntarily by using this updated returns. I can go and file it back to 4 back years. 4 back years I can file. If I have missed to file the income tax return pertaining to previous year 21-22 up to 31st of March 2026, I can file 31/3/2022 returns, 31/3/2023 returns, 24 returns, 25 returns. I can file up to this 31st of this thing I can file using this updated returns sort of facility, which is under section 139(8)(a) of Income Tax Act. 139(8)(a) of Income Tax Act. So under this section 139(8)(a) bracket, you can see 8 and capital letter A. So under section 139(8)(a), you are still allowed to submit the updated returns under ITR-U. Under ITR-U, if you have omitted to file the returns, you can still file the returns under this updated returns option. So what is this updated return? Already I have mentioned. If you have missed to file the return with the same income tax forms that you are supposed to file the returns earlier, now again you can file it under ITRU, a specific form is there using which you can still file the returns under this income tax provisions, subject to a condition. What is the condition? First condition is, apart from normal taxes, for 12 months delay up to first year of delay. So you missed to file it up to 31st of December. If you are filing it on 1st of January or afterwards, after 31st of March, which is the last date of assessment here, up to 31st of March 2027, if you are filing, then 25% extra tax you would be required to pay. So 12 months delay, 25% extra you have to pay. If you are submitting within 12 months, additional income tax would be 25% extra. If you are submitting it 24 months within, then instead of 25%, extra tax would be 50%. If you are filing it within 36 months, 3-year delay is there, extra 60% you would be required to pay. If there is a delay more than 36 months, less than 48 months, then 70% extra you would be required to pay. So 25%, 50%, 60%, 70% is the extra tax that I have to pay while submitting these updated returns under section 140, small letter B of Income Tax Act. Suppose I have missed to file the returns for this previous year 24-25, assessment year 25-26 on or before 31st of December. So from first day of January 2026 till 31st of March 2027, if I am filing my existing tax plus interest, 25% I would be required to pay extra. Then if I am filing again 1 month after, 1 year after, within 31st of March 2028, if I am filing, 50% I would be extra paying. 29, 60% I have to pay. 2030 March, if I am paying 70% of tax extra, I would be required to pay. In this way, 12 months from the date of assessment year, that includes January to March also. So 15 months technically for the first year delay, 25% extra, 24 a month up to 50% extra, 36 months, 60%, 48 months, 70% extra. My total tax till date interest plus late fee, that amounts 25%. My total tax plus interest plus late fees 25%, 50%, 60%, 70%. I would be required to pay extra. So this is termed to be as extra tax payable under section 140B. So is that point clear? How many extra types of taxes are there? 4 types are there. 1 year up to 12 months delay, or up to 30, what do you call, 15 month delay I would call. Technically January, February, March including of this assessment year. 25% extra you would be required to pay. 12 to 24 months delay, 50% extra you would be required to pay. For a delay of up to 36 months, you would be required to pay 60% extra. For a delay of 42 months up to, then 48 months up to, then you would be required to pay 70% extra. So these are all various extra taxes that you would be required to pay in case if you are filing this updated returns. So everyone kindly do text me how much is the extra rate that you have to pay. Kindly do text 12 month 25%, 24 month 50%, 36 month 60%, 48 months 70%. Everybody kindly do text, please. 25% 12-month, 50% 24-month, 60% 36-month, 70% 48-month. It's not 42, 48 months, 4 years. Not 42, 48 months. I have told somewhere 42, it's not 42, 48. After 48 months, 4 years over. After 48 months, 4 years over. After 48 months, there is no option to file updated returns also. No option to file updated returns also. So this is what about this 4 types of rates of updated return. But you cannot file an updated return if you cannot file an updated return if it's a loss return. If only a profit return, you can file an updated return. If already you have filed a return, if you're updating it, then the existing income tax should not go down. In case if you are filing an updated return, it should not be a refund return. It should not be giving you back the amount. In that case, you cannot file updated return. Then if there is any search proceedings coming out, then you cannot file updated return. If already you have filed an updated return, you cannot re-update it. If there is any proceedings and all we would be discussing later, again you cannot do it. In case of any double taxation sort of reliefs, etc. In that case also you cannot file updated return. So various restrictions are also there while filing these updated returns. So for the time being, try to understand this many types of returns, including this updated return. So this updated return, if you miss that due date within 31st of October, 31st of October, July, 31st of July, 31st of October, 30th of November, till 31st of December, you can file this belated return by paying penalty and interest only. But after that December, it again for 48 months extra, for years extra, you can file it, provided tax plus interest 25% extra you are paying it as updated return tax, 140B, 50%, 60%, 70%. So these are the various types of returns that you want to understand. So by which I am stopping for the day. So today we have discussed various points with regarding to PAN, EPAN, how to apply for PAN, practical these things I was mentioning, how to download this PAN, what is about this correction in PAN, etc. I was mentioning. Then we went on to discuss about these sections. 139.1 you read, 139.3, 4, 5, 9, 8A. 8A with regarding to updated returns, 9 with regarding to defective returns, 5 with regarding to revised returns, 4 with regarding to belated returns, 3 with regarding to loss returns, and 139.1 with regarding to timely returns and who under all the persons who are required to file the returns. So this way, kindly do go through all these sections. Last 5 minutes are there. Apart from those technical these things, how to mark the attendance and all, you contact with the Board of Studies. How to get your anonymous to be changed to this actual name and all, kindly do contact with the Board of Studies. Anything and everything with regarding to the academic provisions that I was discussing, you may feel free to ask. Last 5 minutes are there. Any questions in the inbox, I would be ready enough to answer those queries. Please, over to you, dear students. If no queries are there, we shall wind up. Annapurna Sabat madam is there?
Yes, sir.
Madam, lot of queries are coming how to mark their attendance and all. If possible, kindly do
No, the attendance system integrated. Don't need to think that.
Lot of questions are coming regarding this attendance marking and all. If possible, give a reply.
Yeah, no issue. The attendance system integrated. No issue, sir.
So it would be automatically granted. Kindly don't worry, my dear students. Yes, this is for direct access. Recording of lectures also would be available. Any academic questions, anything from the portions, you may feel free to ask. Which one gives more benefit, e-PAN or physical PAN? Both are having same benefits only. E-PAN you can carry within your mobile phones, your electronic gadgets, etc. Physical PAN, physically you have to carry. Both would serve the same purpose only. No requirement for any softwares, nothing. Everything would be done in this online sessions itself. Anuj Naru. So thank you all for your patient listening. And Avarna madam, no queries from them. Let us stop today's session.
Okay,
Everybody,
fine, sir.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
all for your
much, sir.
patient listening. Thank you, BOS, giving me this opportunity. We would be meeting you soon with the remaining provisions. My general humble request, kindly to try to attend it on online itself. Any queries you can ask them. Kindly to go through these sections I was mentioning today. We would meet later. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.